What is up, everyone? Coffee break is back on a beautiful Monday morning. So, wish I had better news for Niner fans. Seems like things just got that much more real. So, um, let me just give me a second. So, we all know why we're here today, and let's go over just on the reports that just have recently came out Sunday evening. So the first thing that came out was the Peter King article, and frankly, actually, let me just put this on the stream. I have it right here. So as you can see, Peter King does these. What are they called? Just want to get this name right. These mock drafts, and this is Peter King's Football Morning in America. Peter King, obviously a well-known reporter of the NFL, has nothing to really lose, has nothing to prove. This is just him going off of either his gut or just reports, and it's mainly reports. But he recently said that the Niners at number 3 overall are taking Mac Jones. Now let's just read it. San Francisco 49ers, Mac Jones. Okay. Hearing it's a 2-horse race with Trey Lance. 2-horse race. So does that mean Justin Fields is no longer in the conversation? I don't know. But it does mean that the Niners are at least focused on Trey Lance and Mac Jones. And Peter King has them slotted to draft Mac Jones number 3 overall. Okay. Quite a few of the experts will faint if this pick happens. I think all of the 49ers fan base will faint if this pick happens. Let's be honest. And then the outrage will ensue. And how could they pass on Fields and Lance? Hot takes would flood the earth. That is true. I mean, the majority of the people want Fields, and some people outside of the 49ers organization just say it'll be dumb not to draft Justin Fields or even take Trey Lance. Those are generational talents. Mac Jones is more of a traditional pocket passer. GM John Lynch and coach Kyle Shanahan, with contracts that run through 2024 and 2025, respectfully do not care. And this is why I say Kyle Shanahan is a stubborn head coach, because it is sometimes great to just be stubborn and just be like, you know what, my way or the highway. And for the most part, if you're a brilliant head coach, as we think Kyle Shanahan can be, then I feel it could probably be a good thing. But Kyle Shanahan, this is the first time he is truly in a position to pick his quarterback. They didn't back in 2017. They got flack for it, deservingly so. But this time around, they jumped in to the conversation and said, we are drafting a quarterback no matter what. And here we are. And it's not the quarterback that people expect. At least Monday, as of April 26th. Can the 49ers change their minds from here to Thursday? Of course. But the fact is, a lot of people are pushing this Mac Jones agenda. And sometimes you just have to think, damn, I guess where there's smoke, there is fire. A lot of people just say, Niners don't leak. And that's true. But Peter King is just making an assumption here based on information that he's probably gathered from people inside the organization. It's a 2-horse race. That much he knows. Out of those two, he thinks Mac Jones is the pick. Could be wrong. Of course, there's always a chance. But Peter King is really good at making these assessments. Let's just finish reading this article here, this piece. They have not cared about public sentiment since taking these jobs, and this is their 5th draft. In the first 2017, I was in the room as it happened, and these were the top 3 players on the board: Myles Garrett, Solomon Thomas, Reuben Foster. I cringe when I hear Solomon Thomas, Reuben Foster slotted at 2 and 3. And, I'll give him this. John Lynch did go out and say after this draft that they had put Solomon Thomas, maybe even some put Foster ahead of Solomon Thomas, but it didn't work out. It didn't work out. This was a missed opportunity to draft a quarterback. They didn't take that. And granted, hindsight is 2020, but it is what it is. Get to comments in a little bit as well. With the 3rd pick, they were sure to get one of those, but Foster, really, no one had him that high. Lynch had Solomon been gone. Had Solomon been gone, we'd take Foster and been happy. My point, Shanahan and Lynch won't care what order the draft Knicks have the quarterbacks or any position. Shanahan believes Jones is the accurate coach on the field type he craves. Coach on the field type he craves. Remember, this past press conference they had, Shanahan drooled all over Kirk Cousins. He didn't have to. Like, Kirk Cousins is playing for the Minnesota Vikings. Like, there's no chance in hell that this ever happens. This relationship rekindles itself. Like, now you're in a position to draft a quarterback. Who cares about Kirk Cousins? But he drooled all over him. It's like, why do you care about this man so much? Well, maybe because he wants to prepare Niner fans of what's to come. It's not the sexy pick. It's something Kyle Shanahan wants. And it's often like for the better part, Jimmy Garoppolo took the Niners to the Super Bowl, and all he had to do, some would say, was manage the game. That's all Mac Jones did in college. That's what he wants. He doesn't want someone to go off script. Clearly, if this is the case, if this Mac Jones fiasco is the case, clearly Kyle Shanahan does not care about those quarterbacks pulling, a rabbit out of their ass and, making plays. He wants things to be scripted, and if they're not, at least have mobility to get out of the pocket and make a play. But he doesn't want someone that can, a Lamar Jackson type of a quarterback like Dak Prescott. I feel like that he doesn't like. So he talked about Shanahan believes Jones is the accurate coach on the field type he craves. As one coach in quarterback prospecting mode told me this spring, Jones has elite NFL traits. He's a natural thrower, is technically very sound, very accurate, and throws a catchable ball. His base and mechanics are excellent. You see that on tape. You do see that on tape. He's not the athlete Lance or Fields is, but he doesn't have feet of stone. Kind of Jimmy Garoppolo kind of had feet of stone after year 2, 3. I'll be fascinated. We all will if Jones is the pick, and I can see it happening. Okay. So Peter King came out and said that. Now, it was already becoming kind of this force. Like, throughout this whole process of the Niners moving up to number 3, there's been a balance of, it's going to be Trey Lance. Justin Fields does this. This would be a perfect match. One person, one player that never faded away from this was Mac Jones. A lot of these guys on national TV kept saying, Mac Jones, Chris Sims, he rates him number 3 best quarterback in this entire draft. Of course, we all know Chris Sims. He's a friend of Kyle Shanahan. They played in college. So I'm pretty confident that Chris Sims came up with that own assessment. Like, he didn't get word from Kyle Shanahan. Like, I'm pretty sure that that was the case. But, like, it's also possible that Chris Sims looks what he looks for a quarterback, Kyle Shanahan looks for a quarterback. So maybe he didn't communicate that to Chris Sims, but they have the same mindset. Maybe they look for the same characteristics in a quarterback and came up with that result. It's not out of the possibility. And I just want to say, prepare yourself, Niner fans. Like, this is what it's may come down to. If this is the pick, be prepared. That's all I'm saying. Now, after that, there was conversation. Well, actually, Ian Rappaport tweeted. Let me read this tweet from Ian Rappaport. This was last night, 6:42 p.m. As the 49ers close in on their decision of which quarterback to take at number 3, sources, who knows who those sources are, but he says sources say they are down to 2 prospects. And the belief is those 2 are Bama quarterback Mac Jones and North Dakota State quarterback Trey Lance. Several sources say the focus does appear to have shifted to these 2. So it's not just Peter King saying that now. Ian Rappaport is backing that up. Again, where there's smoke, there's most likely fire. And my belief, hey, it's probably down to those 2. It's probably not Justin Fields. As like, I transitioned my pick to Justin Fields within the last week. I originally said when they moved up to 3, I was like, I don't know, man, this Mac Jones guy, right? But then I'm like, wait, they really gave up all those first round picks for Mac Jones? Nah, I can't believe that. Well, here we are. Here we are. Now, we can only just pray that somehow John Lynch, Adam Peters, whoever wants Lions, pushes and makes a good argument that Kyle Shanahan changes his mind. Because there's no doubt in my mind, Mac Jones is coming from the Shanahan camp. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, it's not that Kyle Shanahan wants Trey Lance and maybe John Lynch wants Mac Jones. No. Kyle Shanahan wants Mac Jones. And one of the things also that was tweeted, I think it was by Todd McShay. He said that Kyle Shanahan wants Mac Jones, but the 49ers scouting department has pushed for Trey Lance. So there's a battle between, these 2 quarterbacks in the Niners organization right now. It's happening right now. And John Lynch is going to speak later today. So I'm going to be interested to see, like, what's his demeanor there. You can always kind of read between the lines in some of these press conferences and see where maybe GM is leaning towards. But I'm telling you, this has turned into something like huge in the NFL media. Niners, really, why would they care what, other people are doing? Like, why would they hide this information? Like, because this report is coming out, it tells me that this report is true. What benefit would the Niners get if they're pushing this out and saying, no, we're just going to pick Justin Fields? Like, where's the benefit in that? There isn't. Spice Low says, I'm hoping we don't get Mac because we need to get someone who can run outside the pocket if necessary. Now, Mac does bring that, but here's the difference. Justin Fields, Trey Lance can scramble and then pick up 15 yards for a first down. Mac Jones can't do that. He can scramble a little bit. He doesn't have, again, Peter King said he doesn't have feet of stone. He can roll out of the pocket and make a play. The problem is that's what Jimmy was for 2017. Something happened, messed up his knee. He wasn't he wasn't the same quarterback. Like, he was feet of stone. He couldn't even step up into the pocket. He was just had cement feet. I don't know. But this notion that Mac Jones can't, can't roll out or extend the play. He can. He's a little bit of an athlete. He's a better athlete than Jimmy. Ethan says, dude, these are all just rumors. Got to chill about Mac Jones. Like, it's already confirmed. So, yeah, we do got to chill about these rumors. But when this rumor comes out the week leading up to the draft, like, you have to take that into consideration when making these assessments. Like, Peter King isn't just saying that. Ian Rappaport just isn't just saying that. They don't benefit from just saying Mac Jones may be the pick. Like, they're trying to just report information that they're getting from sources within the organization. If we don't get Wilson or Lance, this Mac might be it. But Shanny is 0-2 in Super Bowl appearances. I'm praying is Lance, because Lance has the highest upside out of all these guys. Even Wilson, even Trevor Lawrence. Like, if he can put it together, if he can just get the mechanics right, become more accurate, then he can be the next Josh Allen. Like, he's built that way. But the question is, does Shanahan have the patience to do that? I don't think so. I want to read my first initial thoughts when kind of this whole news broke. I kind of wrote it on my phone because I was eager, man. I was like, should I go live tonight? But I was like, let me wait until Monday. Let me wait until I get some sleep. But these were my initial thoughts. Kyle Shanahan has a type of quarterback he likes to run his offense. Mac Jones fits the prototype that he sees in Kirk Cousins, that he sees in Matthew Stafford. Remember, there were reports Niners were in on Matthew Stafford before the Rams kind of got carried away and gave them a great deal to the Lions. And what he saw in somewhat in Jimmy Garoppolo. Though I think Jimmy was more the exception. I don't think Kyle Shanahan, like, if you line these guys up, would pick Jimmy. I think because they got a good deal with the trade, he was like, all right, let's write it out. And now he's seeing that Jimmy isn't the guy. Everything is pointing into the direction that Shanahan is picking Mac Jones at 3. Now, it's different if Kyle Shanahan has evolved as a head coach to pick someone that can not only extend the play, because I think Mac Jones can do that as well, but someone who can make the unscripted plays, just like Russell Wilson, just like Patrick Mahomes, just like Deshaun Watson. But if history repeats itself, Shanahan has a history of picking the same similar types of quarterback. Go back to Washington, Kirk Cousins. That was his guy. I mean, it's still his guy. He comes to San Francisco, drafts CJ Beathard, drafts Nick Mullins, traded for Jimmy Garoppolo, and as of recently signed Josh Rosen. So it doesn't shock me that Mac Jones is still in this conversation. That's all we know about Shanahan. He wants someone who can run this offense the way he wants it to be ran on his own terms. What does shock me is that Shanahan hasn't really learned from previous kind of mistakes. This recent Super Bowl. Get someone who can make plays unscripted. There's a balance. Like, yes, you want someone who can run the offense efficiently, like sees what you see on the field, able to communicate that to the other players. But like, we've seen this time and time again, guys. It hasn't panned out yet. Why keep going after these type of guys and expecting a different result? I just don't understand it. And again, I can be completely wrong. Peter King, Ian Rappaport can be completely wrong about this Mac Jones situation, and they just go out and draft Trey Lance or Justin Fields, and this would mean absolutely nothing. And I hope that's the case. I really do. I hope that's the case because, of course, I'm gonna be rooting for Mac. He's gonna be with the Niners, but it'll be much more exciting if it's Trey Lance or Fields. That's all I'm saying. I don't want Mac at all. I don't think, 99.999% of people, Niner fans, don't want Mac either. I heard they were trading all their picks for Nathan Peterman. That's what it feels like. It feels like they sold the farm for, Mac Jones, where everyone's like, wait, what? What is happening? But again, if it is Mac Jones, we can't jump to conclusions yet. Like, this trade is barely getting started. We have to wait until training camp rolls out, wait until season rolls out. Because the other thing is, what are they going to do with Jimmy Garoppolo? If you get a player like Mac Jones is pro ready. I think he's pro ready. He ran a pro offense in college. So he can be there starting week 1. I really do believe that. It's more possible Jimmy gets traded before the draft or during the draft. Because if you get a guy like Trey Lance, you can't just throw that rookie into week 1. He has to develop. He's barely 20, going on 21. Like that's I don't know how old Mac Jones is, but he looked more pro ready. Again, going back to mechanics, he has that. All he has to do is learn the playbook. So if you get Mac Jones, you're better off just shipping Jimmy Garoppolo to a trade partner and getting a draft pick. They have said that they're fine not taking a first rounder. They weren't going to get that anyways. If you could get a second round pick, I feel like that's a win. That's a win of a trade. But who knows? Who knows? Again, if his Trey Lance is smarter to keep Jimmy Garoppolo because you can ease the rookie in. Not saying Jones is Drew Brees, but after Lawrence, there's no sure thing. Revisit this in 3 years. Everything else is BS. Of course. Like, hindsight is always 2020. The Bears took Mitch Trubisky at number 2 or number 1, whatever the case was. And they missed on Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes. Like, the Bears fan base get the most flack out of all of us. 49ers don't get that flack because they didn't take a quarterback, but it's still, they didn't take those two who are all pros, like could have Hall of Fame numbers, right? Patrick Mahomes, clear cut. So, yeah, hindsight is always 2020. And are we sure Trevor Lawrence is going to be that? We don't know. Didn't Mac overthrow the ball at his pro day? He had a bad pro day. Just put it like that. It was very all over the place, but his film is pretty good. It's solid. Looks like a NFL quarterback. I don't think it's like giving up 3 first-round picks worthy. So we'll see. Shanahan believes in his system so much. I think he's looking for a system guy instead of the guy who can take the system to the next level. And that's the thing, right? You're being stubborn and want someone who can run your system. But just look at Andy Reid. Like, when Patrick Mahomes came in, he had Alex Smith. Patrick Mahomes came in. It took that to the next level. Like, that's what I'm hoping the Niners can do here, is take their offense and evolve it to the next level. Because sure, you can win with like a Jimmy Garoppolo type. I'm sure you can win with a Mac Jones type. But like, we've seen that story time and time again, and the Niners have come up short time and time again. I feel like it's time to flip the script, get someone out of your comfort zone. That way you can both evolve, one as a player and one as a coach, and test yourself to be the best you can be. I don't know if Shanahan is up for that challenge, but I'll be disappointed if he drafts what he's comfortable in handling. Like, you want someone who can not only that can run your offense, but maybe add wrinkles to it. And I don't see Mac Jones being that type of quarterback. The Niners barely leak anything, so these are probably all just rumors. These are all rumors, right? People do talk. And the fact that people are saying is come down to Trey Lance and Mac Jones. Like, what benefit does that give the Niners for that information to leak out? Um, it doesn't. I feel like there is some sort of, I wouldn't call it friction, but there's some disagreements on maybe Kyle Shanahan wants Mac, which I think it's clear, and John Lynch, Adam Peters wants Trey Lance, and they're having this disagreement during these draft talks, and we'll see. Right now, I think if the draft happened today, the Niners are picking Mac Jones. But if they have at least 3.5 days to change Kyle's mind, that's the way I look at it. Like, I'm hoping John Lynch, Adam Peters are making a great presentation for the Niners to draft Trey Lance, because I feel like that's the long-term success. And if that's what the Niners are really in for, then they've made a solid pick. They made a solid move. Otherwise, could have just stayed at 12. Draft like Kyle Trask or somebody, Davis Mills, and would have been pretty much the same thing. That's the way I look at it, at least. So yeah, not much else to talk about. Obviously, people want to know about, like, what's going to happen with Justin Fields. Like, I'm curious too. We don't know how the league looks at Justin Fields. The fan base, like, fans love him, of course, rightfully so. Like, I love that he's a competitor. He's tough, um, and he's able to pick up those tough yards, like dive for the first down, throw his body, sacrifice it. Like, that's a gamer. Obviously, that's just a fraction of being a quarterback, but that's still important. Something I don't really see in Mac Jones. I mean, just look at his body type. He's built like a dad already, and he's 20, whatever. So that kind of gives me a little bit of a concern with Mac Jones. His character issues, had a DUI, like it kind of gives you some pause there. Like, how much is he committed to being a quarterback? I can tell Justin Fields, Trey Lance are 100% committed to being the best they can be, at least from how they present themselves to me, how I see them, how they treat their body, and how they go about, like, you hear about people talk about them all the time. They're like, you know, Trey Lance watches film, like he wants to be truly the best he can be. And I'm like, okay, that's a huge advantage for those guys. Now let's see how they play out. And for the most part, I loved what I saw from Justin Fields. At least if he, can take care of the football, I think that's one of his biggest issues. And then Trey Lance, like, I feel like he didn't get um, the film out there last year because of the season. Like, if he would have had a full season, we probably are looking at this draft completely different. Like, he could be a clear cut 3-2, maybe ahead of Wilson. So those are things to consider. Like, Trey Lance didn't have a full year, but he did have some in 2019, which, I mean, if you go back far enough, it was a little sloppy, and his mechanics do need work. But now we're just like a year removed from that. Like, players can really really make a change, and especially at that age. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Again, I will be having a live stream on draft day with Aaron from First and Faithful. So come join us. We will be getting that live reaction. We'll be on probably like an hour before the draft to talk about it and get our reaction. So I'm going to wrap this live stream up. Thank you everyone for joining in. As always, I appreciate you guys joining in, leaving your comments, and we'll see you on the next one.